Hello, and welcome to another tip-top episode of Forest Beyond the Tracks, an Empire Affair podcast.
Honey, let's have an adventure, just you and me.
This is episode 9 of Forest Beyond the Tracks. Welcome. Hello, we are top professional musicians and podcasters, Empire Affair. And this week, yeah.
That was really smooth.
So this week we're talking about our adventures in Croatia. I've been twice, once in 2012 and once in 2014. So just as a quick, I think we mentioned it before in another episode, that came about because we got spotted at obviously Dublin Castle in Camden, and a couple very friendly Croatians came up to us after the gig and are very positive about the show that we put on, and promised to take us over to Croatia. And there was even talk even then about them possibly funding recording as well. Can any of you remember speaking to them that night?
No, I don't remember speaking to them at all. I think they sort of cornered you, didn't they, Matt? And you spoke to them for ages.
Yeah, I know I spoke to them, but usually it's when bands come off stage, everyone just sort of flocks towards the singer or the lead guitarist. It's never the keyboard player, is it?
Well, you bucked that trend, Matt.
I did. And they were really nice to talk to. They basically said, we really like your sound. We think you'd go down well in Croatia. I should probably admit I was a little bit skeptical about it all. So I was thinking, yeah, okay, we'll take a number and we'll call you.
I have a question for everybody. At what stage were you individually not skeptical? Because I was skeptical of all of this right up until pretty much we got on the plane.
I mean, I was pretty skeptical when we got off the plane as well. I mean, it's a massive trust thing between, not only them and us, because like you said, we just met them at a venue. I remember a business card got handed, and you're thinking, oh, if they got a business card, something's got to be pretty switched on, got something printed. And it was like, I remember the company name was Blue Pilot, and that doesn't mean anything. There's nothing Croatian in that. I don't know why it was called that, but I was just quite happy to go with the flow and see if things worked out. And things just kept on going right. They said, yeah, we got a venues booked, got flights booked, accommodation, all these things just started falling into place. So I was very much let's just see what happens.
You're just waiting for the rug to be pulled out at each stage, weren't you? And it just never did. And it was just a case of just going, oh, okay, right, yeah, no, okay, we're still going. All right, okay, no, we're on the plane. All right, okay, we're at the airport.
Yeah, it sounded too good to be true. It just sounded like, so it was like someone wants to offer us to come to another country and play our music. It just seemed so surreal, so unheard of. It all turned out for the best.
Darren, was that your first time on the plane?
No, that would have technically been the third. So the first time was on a plane to Tenerife, then the plane back. But so third time on a plane.
Yeah.
How old were you when you went to Tenerife, though?
I remember getting passed over the seat, so I must have been 6 or 7.
So it'd been a good 15, almost 20 years since the plane trips. So you were almost a novice again.
Still not a fan of flying. Not really a fan of flying. I like aeroplanes. I like kind of how they work, the engineering of them, but getting on them, we're not supposed to be in the air. We don't have wings. We got legs.
I just remember, we got, for some reason, our seats on the flight out were all split up. And I think, Darren, you were sat, towards the back. And we were sat...
He was so far away from us all, wasn't he?
He had an aisle seat, didn't he?
From what I remember, the 4 of us who had been on many flights were sat together, and Darren was by himself next to an emergency exit door on the wing.
Yeah, I remember.
The worst place he could have been.
I was thinking, I don't need this added responsibility. I don't even know what's going on as it is. Don't put me in charge of everyone's lives.
Can you remember how you got through that ordeal, Darren?
Yes, I do. My girlfriend at the time, I borrowed her iPad. Well, I say, iPad, so a massive tablet, and just played a load of songs on that. And then when we were in the air, I remember buying a load of like scratch cards. Then there were £2 a go. Bought a load of those, got me through it. Didn't win anything, so but it helped.
Did you not? I seem to remember you did win, and then you put the winnings into buying more scratch cards.
Classic, putting it all back in. Yeah, I remember doing that, and then I don't know. It's just a taking off and landing. Not really a fan of. Once we're in the air and it's steady, you don't really realise you're flying. Really, you ain't got that kind of vibrations or that kind of feeling of dropping. But the slightest movement, if the plane was just a bank left to right, just by just a couple of degrees or something, that's it. I'm thinking, what's going on? It's just normal. Like looking at the flight attendants' faces to see if they're worried. Look at everyone else's face. If there's someone's fast asleep, I'm thinking this is normal. But I'm there like white knuckle thinking, okay, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? Why is no one telling me what's going on?
I just remember, like, as we're taking off, I've looked down the aisle, and I can see your face. You're sort of like...
It would have been head back, eyes closed. Like,
yeah, you were just like, what is going on?
Was it our first trip, this trip, or our second trip where we got the coach from Bournemouth and it took fucking hours?
That was the first, yeah. This one, 2012 one.
So, like, the trip to Gatwick is probably, 2 hours at most? And in the middle of the night, probably less. By car, yeah. And we got this coach, this National Express coach, and it literally went everywhere along the south coast, like to as far as like you go as far as like Portsmouth and then even further across. And it took like 6 hours in the middle of the night. Like we left at like 11 o'clock and we got to the airport at something ridiculous like 5 a.m.
It was a long day because I think we had a gig that night as well when we like that day in Zagreb. So we'd like literally been up. I didn't sleep very much on the coach. I don't know about you guys. And then I didn't sleep on the plane. I think I slept maybe like an hour, 2 hours at our little accommodation we had. And then we had a gig and it was just like, right into things straight away off the bat.
I think when you go on tour with each other, you definitely learn a lot about each other and Tom, you seem to sleep with your eyes half open. It was weird because you sort of like passed out in like what was described as like a woven single chair. And you sort of had your legs draped over the side. You sort of your head was back into the chair. But I think me and Neil were sat there thinking, is his eyes opened?
We were still talking to you, and because you had your eyes open, and then you didn't respond. And then we thought, actually, is he asleep?
We actually went up to your face, like waving in your face, but your eyelids were sort of like I could see the bottom of like your pupil. I was like, his eyes are still open, but you were gone.
Well, of course, I wouldn't know this because I'm asleep, how I sleep, because that's a bit odd. But there's video evidence of you like throwing biscuits at me when I'm asleep. I don't know if you remember that, and like mocking me.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like zombified because I was so done over by the coach trip, the plane trip, and then just in this new place. I didn't know where I was. I was just like, just sleep wherever I could and just crashed out in this chair. Yeah, no. Thankfully, you guys didn't go much further than that, throwing biscuits and waving in my face.
I think as well, like by that point, you'd had the relief of actually everything being genuine. Because I remember when we actually arrived in Croatia, like not only did we find this experience of the process of getting there so surreal, but it just continued to be more surreal. And we joked that it was like the start of one of the Hostel films. We made our own arrangements for flying out there and getting our gear and everything. But once we stepped onto Croatian soil, we didn't organize any of the details. So we just turned up under the assumption that people were going to be picking us up from the airport, that we had places to stay and so on and so forth. But literally right from that second that we landed, it was more surreal. Can anyone remember the driver that picked us up?
We got in touch with Igor, who arranged everything for us over there. He was was doing the gigs, driving us about, and took us to accommodation. We'd never met him, and there was another guy. Was his name Yuri? Something like that.
Yeah.
So we didn't even know what these two blokes looked like, but they seemed to spot us quite quickly.
Yeah, I remember coming out of like the arrival section, and I can't remember if they had a sign or not, but we found each other quite quickly. or the guy we assumed was Yuri, and we got led to his transportation, which was this van. I said it's all trust. It's complete trust because, like Jack said, we never met these guys, and he's just like, right. And he didn't. His English wasn't great either. So we just got in this van with this guy, kind of thinking it's all going to work out. It's all going to be good. Yeah, stay positive, and he's just going to take us to our accommodation. And I remember just sat in the front seat with this guy, couldn't barely get a conversation with him. And I think you guys were in the back.
Didn't we get split up? Were we all in one car?
Yeah, from the airport we were. I think when we went to a couple of the gigs, we might have got split up.
Yeah.
And the second tour, I think we went separate cars on the way to our accommodation. But that first time, it was one man, one van to this like rented apartment we had in. Well, this is my first time. Yeah, it was my first time in Zagreb. I don't know where we were going, where we were ending up. It was actually nice. It was actually a right place. Yeah, it was like a suburb, very friendly, welcoming place.
I think it is worth saying that, I mean, we briefly touched on it. We organised our own flights, and that was kind of part of it. We got ourselves over there. Then once we were there, everything more or less to a certain degree was paid for or organised. So accommodation, most of the food and drink and stuff was all taken care of. So we didn't have to take over much money at all. We just didn't really need much money. So we were in this foreign land. We didn't know anyone. We didn't know where we were. We're getting into cars with strangers. We didn't have any or much money should anything go wrong, or we had to book alternative accommodation. It was just so surreal.
When you describe it like that, it sounds like the deposition in like a Netflix documentary series about how all things all went wrong.
It's all the things your parents tell you to do when you're a kid. You know, don't do it. And it was just like, we're going to do it.
And we did.
We've got each other though.
We have. And we got Darren and his drumsticks, so he can beat the hell out of anything.
And we also learned a valuable lesson while crossing the customs border as well, didn't we, Matt?
Yes, we did.
What happened?
I think I was one of the first through, and I looked back and shouted, "Yes, Tom, it worked!"
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah, we're literally 3 seconds into the country, and making a great impression on the locals already.
Classic.
And we were all like fist in mouth, like, I was like, luckily nobody really cottoned on to the fact that we were just arsing around, because our tour could have ended very quickly.
When did we go? Was it December, that first
November,
December sort of time?
Yeah.
Because the weather was quite dire, wasn't it? It was like
rainy, very rainy.
Like, looks like England.
I remember the first gig that night, it was pissing it down.
Yeah.
So the first gig was in Zagreb, and again, it was just pure sort of setup for a horror film. Like, we got into this car with a stranger, and we had to drive onto this dark industrial estate. There were burnt out cars everywhere, abandoned buildings, and it was just like, what the fuck are we doing here? But yeah, it turned out the first venue, Hard Place, was a really cool sort of warehouse sort of the venue, and went up the stairs and it opened up to a really nice bar up there.
I remember the stairwell could only be described as a multi-story car park stairwell.
Yeah, that's a really good description. It was like those metal
rails,
concrete
and
walls,
concrete.
metal rails. Yeah.
And you're thinking, there's a music venue here. With like, what are we getting ourselves into?
But the venue was really nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It
had like a weird balcony bit at the top.
Yeah, there was only room to a couple of tables up at the top there. You could probably only get about half a dozen people on that balcony. But we had our dinner up there, didn't we?
Yeah. Remember the pizza we had now?
Yeah, we ordered pizza, and it's a really common thing now, but it's the first time in my life I'd ever seen it, egg in the middle of a pizza, and I remember being so disgusted.
It was such a surprise. I remember just opening the box. I was like, "Oh, it's just a random fried egg." It wasn't even in the middle. It's just like they're just gonna close your eyes and went, "Yeah, there's a fried egg." But we're like, "Oh, sure, why not?"
Again, another thing we trusted the locals with was food. Obviously, we didn't really understand the menu, so we'd just like order whatever. We'll eat whatever comes.
Plenty of chips.
And obviously that night we met our good friend Domo.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Who?
John Live is the drummer from Achromatic Attic. Although they weren't playing that night, were they?
No, he said that he has seen online somewhere that we were an English band coming to Zagreb, so he came purely to check us out. And he actually saw us in that concrete stairwell. I think we were trying to do some sort of photos or something, weren't we? And he goes, "Oh, I'll take a photo for you."
Yeah, I think so.
Like a band photo. 'Cause I know there's one of me in my Adidas sports jacket, just in the trackies.
Yeah, I have got some photos from that tour, and I'll see if I can dig them out. They didn't come out as well as I hoped, but there is a shot on that stairwell somewhere. Yeah, he just came up and chatted to us. I think we just sound checked or something. I'm going to take this picture, and like right off the bat, he was so friendly and he just so welcoming, and he was curious as well. Like just wanted to know why had an English band come to Zagreb, perhaps quite a little following that we had, and just wanted to know what the story was. And he ended up over the course of those 5-6 days sort of becoming our tour guide really, and our translator
yeah.
and just sort of amazing, the most helpful person we could have imagined, and just a really good friend, someone if you were going abroad for the first time, it's the sort of guy you want to meet, because he just was so helpful and just so nice. Ambassador, I would say, of Croatia from that front, from my point of view anyway.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He took us to all the little sort of hot spots. He was like, "Yeah, this is where I go to get good coffee. This place does really good beer." I remember he took us to it was like a little dainty little pub, and we were all drinking this like black lager or brown lager. And he goes, "Yeah," he ordered some food for the table. It was all sort of like Croatian breads and pickles and stuff. You're thinking, but do as
And
locals
he kind of set the tone for our experience with other locals there. 99.99% of the people that we spoke to were super friendly, excited about speaking English to an English person, and just really, really welcoming. Really nice people.
Yeah, definitely. We just touched on food there very briefly. And Darren, can I just ask you about your experience of the Croatian food? Because I remember at the time, you've in the intervening years since then, your palate has widened, let's say. But I remember when you were out there, you were very let's say you're cautious. Yeah, it's a good word. What would you describe? What would you eating off a Croatian menu?
Chips.
I think you actually asked. You're like, "Do they do chips in Croatia?" Yeah, you'll be all right, mate.
It's a safe option. When in doubt, go for chips.
Yeah.
Well, I have been stung a few times, so I'll maybe take that back.
Yeah, we went to shopping to a local supermarket as well. I remember, to get some food for just this is just a weird tangent, but like our accommodation had like a little kitchenette, and we could cook some stuff. And from what I remember, Matt, you're like the only person that made anything or made a coffee. I think the rest of us just bought like ready-made food out of a packet, or we ate when we were out.
You know what Jack was obsessed with, don't you?
Oh my god.
Yep. Those hot
dog flavored crisps. They were fucking delicious.
Oh, they were amazing. Yeah.
You could have been done on like importing, not going through nothing to declare with the amount that you bought back.
I tell you what, they were like a grab bag sort of size. I didn't really think anything of it. Like you say, we were just buying food on the go, and I picked them up. And I think, we were at home, and I was just like, "Oh my god, what is this?" And I ended up buying like 10 packets. It's like throwing half my clothes away just to get it in my suitcase, because I stuffed some in my guitar case just to get it back.
On the first night, obviously in Zagreb, we had another band playing, and I believe they were called Pistol na Gumene Metka, which roughly translates as guns with rubber bullets.
Yes.
Were they on all three nights of that tour?
So.
They play with them every night as well.
Are they the ones that wore like the satin, like purple shirts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very brave.
Look like a bowling team.
Yeah.
Like a bomb.
They were really nice guys. And their music was good. But I just remember those purple shirts.
Yeah, we're not really sure. Yeah, like how Croatians do rock music when we were over there, and like or sort of live music. But like you said, Neil, they're like bowling shirts, and they were the color of Cadbury's purple.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a very strong look, to say the least. But they looked unified on stage. They looked together. We probably looked very different to that approach, I would imagine, at that stage in our lives.
Well, they didn't think much of your clothes, did they, Tom?
No one does anyway. But
Oh.
I think it was the second tour where I got ribbed for what I was wearing. But perhaps we'll touch on that a bit later.
So we played the first night in Zagreb. That was cool. And from what I remember, the gig itself went fairly smoothly. We've had too much of a hitch. And then what happened afterwards? Because it wasn't like straight down the pub and drinking, was it? Didn't Neil and Darren head home?
Yeah, we went home.
Back to the apartment.
As Tom said earlier, we've obviously been up since like 11 p.m. the day before. All the travelling to London, the flight, experience in Zagreb for the day, and then doing the gig straight away. So I remember I just wanted to go to sleep, and yeah, we headed back to the apartment and just went to bed.
What do we do?
We stayed.
I think we stayed and had a couple drinks with the locals, but it wasn't a late one.
Yeah, I think Drazen was there, a guy who organised the tour. He was there to kind of see the first night in, so it was nice to have a catch up with him. But yeah, because I think we couldn't all go back at the same time anyway, because there was only like limited amount of transport. But there was a bit of a faux pas during that, because when Neil and Darren left, without realising, we had 2 keys to our apartment, and they went home with both of them. So the rain was still lashing down by the time we left the gig. And I remember by the time Jack, Matt and myself got to the apartment, we couldn't get in at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. or whatever it was.
And nobody was using their phones, because obviously we were in a different country. So I don't think you could call us or message us.
No.
So me and Darren were in the apartment sleeping soundly, and you guys were out the front.
Yeah, I was like, I was trying to shout up to you guys because we were on like the first or second floor, and this other lady had heard me shouting or trying to get your attention, and I was trying to have a conversation with her, going, "Can you let us in? We're staying here tonight. We've come over from England. Can you let us in?" And she was, I'm not sure what country she was from. She wasn't happy. No, I mean, who wants to be disturbed at 2 a.m. with some random person on their doorstep shouting?
Speaking a different language.
But I think I tried speaking to her in French as well, because I was like, well, we didn't speak Croatian and she doesn't speak English, so let's try French.
Yeah, we're just getting wetter and wetter and wetter. No, it didn't. And yeah, we're just getting wetter outside because we couldn't get in, and with all our gear as well. So the last resort was to press the doorbell for the kind of house owner, the apartment owner who lived on the ground floor, and disturb them, because we had no other choice to get in. And I just very, very timidly pressed the button, waiting for them to come to the door, saying, "Please, can you let us in? We haven't got a key. Thank you. We're foolish English boys." So they let us in, and yeah, we had a few words with Neil and Darren. I think not was really their fault, but we afterwards we went to sleep, soaking wet.
Well, I don't know about you, but I got changed out of my clothes.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
No.
And I was sleeping in a bed with Matt on that tour. There wasn't enough separate beds. Don't know if you guys remember that.
It was crazy.
I don't actually remember the layout of that accommodation at all.
It was like, you go up the stairs, there's like 2 rooms, one on the left, one on the right. I think I had the sofa, Tom and Matt had a double bed, and Neil, Darren, you're on the other side. Maybe another double bed or 2 single beds.
Did you have Domo? Didn't you have Domo in yours, Neil and Darren?
He did stay on the sofa one night, didn't he? It might have been that same night.
No, I think it was the next night, because he come to. So yeah, the next day we went out with Domo. He showed us around all these like great locations. And
he literally was like a tour guide, wasn't he? Like,
yeah.
He was like, this part of the city is called this, and this is what the government do here, and this is this building. And
Yeah.
we're like taking it all in, like, fucking hell, we're not paying for this. This is amazing.
And then we were like, look, we got to get back to our apartment because we're getting picked up and we're going to Čakovec, which is another little town outside of Zagreb. And we were like, "Do you want to come with us?" And he was like, "Yeah, all right, why not?" You know, like sort of seize the day sort of moment. He's like, "Yeah, let me just go home and grab a few bits," and he sort of came along with us, and then we headed out to Čakovec.
Nice 90-minute, 70-mile-ish jaunts down the road.
I remember that was a very long drive. Like, I remember we went over. I thought we were just all going to gig like around the local area, but no, we really went out each night, like a good few hours out.
It's you, it's
Yeah, so we arrived at this little town, and the actual venue was really cool. I thought it was really
It was so out of place for the town, wasn't it? The town
Yeah.
seemed really old-fashioned and quiet, and then you sort of went round into this kind of car park for this venue, and it's all like bright neon light out the front and like really modern looking. It really looked out of place, and it was like down in like a basement, wasn't it? You went down this stairwell, and this whole bar was under there, and it was absolutely booming.
Again, I think that night we had another pizza with a suspicious egg on it.
We did. And some giraffes. I think they were referred to as.
Oh,
The giraffes of beer.
Beer, yeah.
Big, tall.
they were like,
towers.
Oh yes.
they were like
That's-
£5, I think, for like a yard of beer or something.
And the reason they were called giraffes is because they were in these really tall cylinder containers with a keg handle on the bottom. So the idea was that you could just carry this beer to your table and then just pour out of the keg. And so I don't think I had one until after we played, but you could just see the 5 English boys walking around. If there was a group of people, you could just see these giraffes making their way through the crowd. So you knew Jack's over there, Matt's over there.
Yeah, I think we all had one at one point. It was just like, yeah, here, have a beer. Yeah, who are you? Have a beer.
Yeah, I mean, because it was
It
like
was a good beer.
It was a good beer. I mean, most of the beers, pretty much all the beers out there, were really nice. And like the conversion rate from us coming from England for what we could get for our money was insane. And
It was like 70p a pint, wasn't it?
I remember like getting around the beers and go back to the table and go, guys, that cost me £5.20 for like 6 beers. I was like, this is the best country in the world.
yeah, it was just brilliant. So it was just like, let's make the most of this. And we did, because I've got to say, I think that gig in Čakovec in the Pod Room, I think the venue's called, was got to be one of my all-time favourite gigs we've ever done. Not the biggest venue, but the crowd were just so warm and welcoming and just wanted us to just play our socks off. We just did it. We gave them everything we had and felt it back.
I agree. I think it's probably our best gig in terms of, like you said, the crowd. We ended up playing like 2.5 hours or something.
We did, didn't we? Igor was like, just say, keep playing.
It was just like
Every time we tried to finish the set, it's like, keep going.
Yeah, he was on the side of the stage with his hand just going, just winding it forward, like gesturing. Got enough one.
He sort of pulled us to one side and goes, if you guys know any covers from any English bands.
Oh yeah, we started
Just
banging
play
out
it.
covers in the end, didn't we? I remember we played
like Arctic Monkeys. And
didn't we play Dakota as well? I remember us playing
Yeah.
Stereophonics there.
Literally, that, like you say, the crowd, like you say, what about 200 people for capacity, maybe?
It was rammed, wasn't it?
It was absolutely rammed.
Mhm.
Like this little town, an English band had obviously turned up, and everybody had just come to see us. And it was quite a young crowd as well, from what I remember. It's like our sort of age, and we just could not put a foot wrong. Like there was probably loads of dodgy broken amp moments, but they didn't know. They're like, oh, this is English
There was a
jazz.
small group of people just to our right, and I remember seeing them while we were playing December, and they knew the words. That like really hit me as like, shit, we're in this foreign country we've never been to before, don't speak the language, and they know the words to our songs. And that was an
Really
amazing
wasn't it?
moment. That was really cool.
And that's where I mean, we sort of, it didn't intend on it, but that's where we stumbled on like the cheap tricks to win people over.
this is just such a weird coincidence. I bought this Croatian football shirt when I was like 14 or something, because I saw Croatia in Euro 96, and when they made it to France 98, they had their shirt in the shop. So I bought that, unbeknown, almost 20 years later, 15 years later, I'll be taking that shirt to Croatia to play to a room full of Croatians wearing that shirt, which happened to be the shirt which they had their best ever finish in a football World Cup. So like everyone knew that shirt, the look of it, and it just made the crowd react even more because they just love the national football team and what they did in that year. So it was like the best thing we could have pulled out of our pocket to help the mood of the room and just make it even a better night for everybody by just some strange, amazing coincidence.
Yeah, it certainly went down well.
And there was a celebrity behind the bar as well, from what I remember.
Big celeb. We got a photo of him with him.
We did get a photo of him, yeah. I'm sure we do. But yeah, there was this barman there, and he had long hair, like ponytail long hair, but his face, he was the spitting image of the actor Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And we were like calling him, hey Joseph. I think we were like trying to show him pictures of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he was just smiling and nodding along. And I remember, I think it was before we went on, there was loads of music playing in the venue, and Pour Some Sugar on Me. Is it Def Leppard? That's the artist was playing, and I was sort of singing along at the bar, and he threw sugar in my face, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And it took me a couple of seconds to catch on the fact that I just sung the chorus there, and he was just following my request of singing along. But I was like, did someone just throw sugar at me? And he stood there with this smile, just like with a thumbs up.
They're really careless of their sugar and eggs over in Croatia.
Yeah, it was a Friday night gig, and I just think everyone just wanted to let off steam with us and just make it the best night possible, and it just was so much fun. Just such a great night.
So obviously we played in Čakovec. Did anyone notice that Eagles drove us over in a van? Did anyone notice that he was sort of at the bar, sort of nailing beers?
Powering them back.
And we were thinking, shit, this guy's got to drive us back.
They may have been non-alcoholic. We can't say
that is very true. Yeah,
I do remember he made me quite nervous on some of the trips to the venues when we're on the motorways or autobahns, out their way we call it. He was on his phone a lot, like no seatbelt on. He'd be having his phone between his legs, a van full of passengers, and I'll be just glance over. I'm in the front seat with him. I'm just glancing over, thinking, "Fucking hell, we're gonna die." Like I've seen videos I've seen crash compilation videos on YouTube in like Eastern European, and this does not end well.
Was he smoking as well?
Probably. I don't know.
That was one of the things that really caught me out when we played in Croatia. Was obviously that I tend to forget, being in England, that like indoor smoking, which doesn't happen in England, is like perfectly normal everywhere else, most places, and everyone's smoking. These venues were so smoke filled, and when we were in Čakovec, like it was smoke and there was weed, and literally these aromas and smoke everywhere. It was like it was rife, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because we finished the gig, I don't know what time we got, about 10 o'clock. Finished at like midnight or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think we hung around for a good like hour or two afterwards, like partying, and we were.
Yeah.
There's a photo of us, like,
good.
That photo is brilliant.
Just sums up the tour. Just like, I think Tom's wearing his Croatian shirt. And,
we had one of the giraffes, empty giraffe,
pretending it was a penis. Yeah.
Because we're English and children.
Yeah. And
you're like stuffing money in my mouth.
Oh, there's all sorts of everything going on.
Yeah, there's in the background there's a TV screen and it's got our logo and our picture on it. That wasn't cool enough just to have that when we went into the venue and saw our picture like, everywhere, like in this amazing foreign land. But like to be captured in that photograph, like just that moment, it was just perfect.
I say when we left there and we just bundled into the vehicle and heading back, all boozed up, and a few people had a few joints or a few puffs on joints and stuff. And then Matt, you
I tell you what,
did the most legendary. I think this could be a skill or like an Olympic sport. What you did.
It is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. You know, like.
We'll just say now, if anyone's eating their dinner, pause. Come on.
Yeah.
So basically, we're hooning it down on this motorway at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Igor, I don't know what he's doing, if he's looking at the road or Darren's holding the steering wheel. But Matt's sort of like.
The colour's drained from his face.
You were drinking like a big bottle of Lipton's iced tea or something like that, like a big 2-litre bowl. And you sort of casually, I was sat next to you, you casually sort of like picked up, unscrewed the lid, and put your mouth round the rim of the bowl and was sick. And you sort of covered the inside of the whole of the bowl in this sort of sick colour. So it was like you couldn't see through the bowl anymore. And you were just like, and you calmly put the lid back on and I put it down. I was just like, were you just being sick? You were like, yeah. I was just like, and there wasn't a single drop anywhere.
It was like, perfectly done. You were just sat there with your head back, like colour drained from your face. You're like, I don't feel good. The calmest took the bottle out, opened it, filled the inside perfectly. And it was like, you don't mind me saying, it was pretty violently sick. So it wasn't even like...
Yeah, you were making the horrendous noises.
And you controlled it perfectly.
It was, you know...
It is something I've almost managed to recreate a couple of times since then. I'm not, ashamed to say that when I've had a few drinks, it's unfortunately we've
all been there.
Yeah, it happens. I'm not afraid to say that. That I get a little bit sicky. It could have been a combination of alcohol and other substances. I'm not at liberty to say, but it pretty much happened like that. I controlled and just went in this bottle and carried on my merry way again.
Just speaking of other substances, just one of the memories just come back to me from, I'm sure it was a local who whispered in my ear when we were in the venue, "Tonight you take heroin, tomorrow you die." And then he laughed like maniacally in my face. And I was thinking, wow, that's something friendly. That's a very nice sentiment. Thanks for that. I'm not sure what you meant by that guy, but
he also said, we can get you anything. Drink, you want drugs, we get you anything, but if you take heroin tomorrow you die.
Yeah, but then he laughed after it, like really crazily in my face and your face. But we're a band on tour. We're living it up.
The next gig after that was quite a contrast compared to the one we just had the night before. And it was in a place called Županja, which I believe is closer to the Bosnian border. It's sort of.
What really caught me by surprise about Croatia in general was like how kind of downtrodden and how kind of all the rural areas had loads of graffiti and kind of just ridiculous kind of damage to all the buildings and stuff. And it had been left like that. And one of you was telling me that it was because of the Yugoslavian war. It was like a reminder of everything they'd been through. So they hadn't renovated these things. But when we got to Županja, it was a whole other level. Like it was literally like the town was closed. Like no street lamps were on in the streets. It was just the headlights of our vehicle driving through. Everyone had those kind of wooden shutters on their window, like it was a Western movie. And all these buildings were just covered in bullet holes. We talked about turning up in the country, how it was like a trust exercise. Like this was like at next level.
Yeah, I remember getting led into a building. Well, not just me. I mean, the five of us. We got led into a building next door to the venue to go and do a radio interview. And there wasn't that many lights on in the building. And we could see these bullet holes. And we just got led up these stairs into the, we're just going, yeah, we'll do it. Just follow, just keep walking. We're just like, where are they taking us? It all worked out fine. We did this radio interview, which was crazy. I don't remember much about that. I don't know if you guys do.
No.
But
I think we just want to get in and get out.
Yeah, and it was just surreal. And we went back to the venue, and from what I remember this was, if you recall back to another podcast where I said to Jack when we were referring to one of our worst ever gigs at Pool Labour Club that you thought Croatia was bad, you never played Pool Labour Club, was my quote. This was pretty much the night that I was referring to, because the crowd were a very different kettle of fish compared to the previous night.
Yeah.
Very hostile. The coolest venue, though, right? Like, of the ones we played, I thought the venue was by far the coolest one. It was like this kind of long venue, narrow but long, and then there was like a gantry up the top, like around the side, so you could stand on this gantry and look down at the stage and look down at the crowd. Really cool lighting rig. The sound was amazing, but the what did we say? You think the further north Croatia you go, the more harder they like their, or the further west, sorry, the harder they like
other
their
way.
rock. Oh, you're pointing the wrong way. Tom was giving me a visual cue, but the wrong way. So the further east you go, the more they like their hard rock, and we obviously much more on the indie side, and we got
a nice nickname.
We got a nice nickname, which probably isn't very PC, and
But we'll say it anyway.
yeah, I mean we were called Gay Rock, and I mean we took it affectionately enough. I mean. It's not the first time we've received any kind of criticism, and I'm there in my spangly boots and vest top and stuff, so I couldn't really argue much to the contrary.
But
It might have been a compliment.
It could
Might have been a compliment.
Yeah.
But what got me is the bloke paid his money to come in and see us, then fucking dissed us. You know, you're like, well, you're still here.
The thing that struck me about this venue and the people going there was that they seem to have quite a open door policy of people bringing in their own drinks.
Yeah, it was. It was like a bring your own booze thing, wasn't it?
I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Oh. So, yeah, I mean, we were playing this gig, and there was, we say it was hostile. There was pockets of people that were actually really into it and really having a good gig. And we're playing this gig, and obviously, us, we're jumping around, we're high energy and stuff, and really hot. And somebody offers up this bottle up to the stage. So we just assumed it was water. Was it you, Darren, that drank it before I did?
Yes, it was. So, and I remember, there's three things I remember about Croatia. It's one, Matt doing his sick thing, the town name, Županja, and specifically this incident. So I think there's a video of it when we recorded the gig, and I'll never forget it. So it wasn't a clear bottle. It had a Fanta label on it, like the orange Fanta label. And this was kind of back in my kind of maybe like naive days of drumming, where I wouldn't really take a drink on stage. I'd forget how thirsty I get, and I always get a sore throat the next day, and I always get ill. So sort of shortly after, I used to bring water on. But anyway, so yeah, this lad at the side of the stage comes up to me, because I think I did I sort of suggested to Junior that I'm thirsty, so I kind of signalled, look, you got a drink.
Yeah, drink, yeah.
And then I think he must have clocked that and went, poor lad wants a drink. Oh, I'm thinking water. And he offers me this bottle. Like I said, I thought it was water because it was clear. And without hesitation, I just swigged a load. And my God, my hair nearly blew off. I might as well drunk white spirit.
So what can anyone remember the name of the drink? It was like
Rakia.
Yeah, rakia.
Rakia.
It's like it's 80% proof paint stripper, and oh my God, I was so drunk after that.
It was. I remember the night before when we were in Čakovec, we had it as a shot, and they were telling us about it and how it was brewed locally, and it was this spirit, this really strong spirit, and we tried it, and we were kind of like, it's not it's not great. But I think in Čakovec they'd infused it with honey, and it was drinkable. But in this venue, it was just a straight spirit, and it was strong. And I'd had a swig, and I'd been, that's strong. But Darren chugged the thing, and it sprayed out of his mouth while we're playing.
Horrible.
Remember the wrestler Triple H when he used to spray out? It was like that.
Do you know what the thing? I remember because I thought, I didn't think at the time, but obviously we've still got to do a gig. So we're slowly playing. I'm slowly getting pissed. I'm getting out of time, and I may be playing too fast. I don't know what. I'm having a great time up here in my head. But God, no, I remember watching back on camera thinking, I'm so out of time. I'm so drunk.
The guys from Pistols with Rubber Bullets filmed us from the gantry. We've got a video somewhere of us playing more.
Yes.
And it is 500 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's so
So I
quick.
was pistol that time.
It was a good, different gig. And then And I believe we were back home the next day, weren't we? Or
I think we were. I think it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's quite over in a flash, really.
I think there was originally another date planned on that tour, but for some reason it fell through in another. I seem to remember another town. I'm probably pronouncing this horribly wrong, called Osijek, which is quite far. I looked on a map; it's quite far east. We never actually got to go there on either tour, and it was talked about. So it could have been some more fun another night, but it was only those 3 dates, which were some of the best experiences we've had in the band.
It was amazing. We came back again. If we were skeptical and weren't really, I think because we were so skeptical, we weren't really prepared for what it was going to be like. When we came back, just like wow.
And what was our favourite brand of shop?
Oh, Consum.
Was your famous quote the first time or the second time we were there, Matt?
The second time.
Yeah, I mean that was so. Consum was like one of their main supermarket chains, wasn't it? Like an Asda or a Tesco's to us. It was Consum. They were everywhere, and
they were everywhere. You could not swing your dick without hitting a Consum.
And Matt, you just dropped that quote in just as we're walking down the street. We all erupted with laughter.
It's funny because I went on holiday to Spain a few years later, and they had Consum, but spelt it with a different, without the Z, with an S. I was like, couldn't swing your dick without hitting one. I was like,
No.
that stuck with me. That was a good jaunt.
What was the name of the beer that we used to drink? Was it Ojliko?
Ajursko.
That stuff was just everywhere, out on the streets. They were poster, just branding everywhere,
wasn't it
cafe umbrellas?
Wasn't the brewery for it in Zagreb?
Yes.
That beer was so nice.
I don't know if it was arranged by Igor or the guys that put the tour together for us, or perhaps Sargosco got hold of the fact that we were over there. But every time we went to a venue, like in the little green room or backstage area, there's just a couple crates of their beer there waiting for us.
I remember that. It was all 12 in a box or something.
Yeah. I remember as well, in Županja, in the backstage, it was sort of they had a cupboard or a bookshelf, and I found a book of the Iron Giant.
Yes.
And I was just like, I remember watching this film when I was a kid, and it was all in English. I was like, oh God! I was like, Tom, have you seen the Iron Giant? He's like, I didn't think you had you, or you still haven't? Or
I have in between those times. I have now, but I've actually got that book. I've still got it somewhere. I was like, all right, we've got to take.
You took it with you.
I pinched it, yeah. So sorry if that was some sort of library in Županja.
And I found
a copy of Iron Giant overdue to return.
And I found a CD of King Crimson, a progressive rock band, and I think that most of the members are from Dorset. So I'm just going to shake things up a minute.
So we are now joined by the main man, our Croatian brother, tour guide, drummer of what? Remind us your band again, Domo.
Achromatic Attic.
Domo, the main man, is here.
How you doing, Domo?
I'm doing very well. It's quite late here. It's 10 p.m. So I'm a bit starting to get tired because I'm up from 6 in the morning. So this is the end of going towards the end of the day is always a bit difficult. But this is way better than doing some chores or cooking or something. Things usually that I do at this time of the evening.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. This could be this could be 10 times worse than doing your chores.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Well, it's been some time that now that Jack told me about your. Obviously, I've seen your podcast, but since he told me if I would like to join, I said, well, of course, yes. If I'm going to be free, it's going to be a nice opportunity to say hi to everyone and talk about those famous days.
Famous? Oh God.
Bananas. Yeah, we haven't got to that bit yet.
We haven't got to the bananas bit yet.
We will.
We will.
Yeah. No, sure. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, we've been talking about the first time that we came in 2012, where we first met you in the hard place in Zagreb. What do you remember about first meeting us on that first trip?
Well, I think I saw the event on Facebook, and I was thinking like, oh, I've never heard of these guys. How come they're coming to Zagreb and generally Croatia? And that's kind of interesting. That's something that got me thinking. Well, who are these guys? Why are they coming? Maybe I would like to see them play. And so I started thinking. I started looking a bit on Facebook. I think it was also mentioned somewhere in between that there was this Blue Pilot agency. So me having a band, immediately I went thinking like, maybe there's an opportunity for me. Let's see these guys. And then I talked to my friend, the bassist from the band, and he said, well, okay, let's go, let's check them out. And there you were on that stage, very, very, how could I say, you had a great performance. The concert was very energetic, and I was frankly very surprised with your playing and your energy and how tight you were, and that was my first impression, that these guys really know how to play. And but still, it was amazing to me, how come these guys came to Zagreb? Who comes to Zagreb if he's not from somewhere around here? Usually bands that come, they are on a tour going through several countries in a van, but this was very unorthodox, and that's what got me interested. And then me being me, obviously I wanted to say hi, because I pictured myself coming to England and knowing no one, and that it would be nice if someone came and said, hello guys, it's been a good show, my name is Domo, and if you want to hang out tomorrow, what are you doing? We can go through the city. Because I was a student at that time, and I didn't have much obligations on my university, so I had time. I could spend the whole day with you guys, and it wouldn't be a problem. So that was me being me, getting to know you, because it was all a very interesting situation, and I'm very happy that all turned out the way it did.
Yeah. So if you'd met us, like if we come over now, do you think we might not have met then? Because your situation is different, and obviously, if we were touring in Zagreb, would you have still come down? Do you think?
Probably not.
That's a shame, because also we were so grateful for you for being there and being who you were, and taking us under your wing of the city, and of yourself just being like almost like our savior out there, because we were clueless, like literally just going to a restaurant, getting around the city, just anything. It was just and even at the gigs and stuff, just what you did for us was just I know I can speak on behalf of all of us, just saying it wouldn't have been the same without you.
The second time we came back, the priority was, does Domo know? Is he free? Can he join us?
Yeah, like Domo, book holiday. We're coming back.
Yeah, well, it was for me a very interesting experience, also because we're all kind of peers, and it was interesting for me also to see people my age already working and having a band, and having this situation with you taking holidays, coming here, trying to make something with the band, with the music. I was very into that at the time, and we were all in the band very into that, and we were also thinking what our future is going to be like. We were trying to make as much music we could, to do gigs as much as we could, but this was all part of this situation, why this whole thing was very interesting. And then you guys were very open-minded, you were very interesting, you were very interested in Zagreb, you wanted to see everything, so it was a win-win.
Do you remember any of the gigs really specifically? Like any of them that stick out in your mind of any being a favourite or more memorable moments? Do you remember where we played?
I remember it was very fun for me to go with you guys on the second gig,
Hmm.
because the first one was Zagreb, then
Yeah.
day after was Čakovec,
Hmm.
and then the third day was Županja, I think.
Got a great memory.
And then I was the whole thing, me going with you to Čakovec was great for me, and that's the best thing. The whole package was great, and that's the memory I can say the best one, because it was, for me, it was cool just to go somewhere with this band that came here. It was all very fun and interesting to me, and I remember calling my then girlfriend and saying, like, these guys, they invited me to go to Čakovec tonight, and they are playing there, and I want to go. It's great. And
Run
No-brainer,
off with
yeah.
the circus.
It's interesting though, because we've earlier in the episode we talked about how all of this was just a massive thing of trust for us. Like, we just had to trust these people that they were going to take us to Croatia, and then when we got there, they were going to organise where we were staying and how we got to venues and stuff. But equally, it's the same for you. Like, you never met us before, and then we said, "Oh, do you want to come to this other town with us for this other gig?" And you just had to trust that we were we were going to do what we said, and we were cool guys. We'd like to think so, and so it's interesting that it literally all just revolved around everybody trusting each other that they didn't know, and we had so many good memories off of it.
yeah, I can't really say much after that. What you said, it really is. This whole trust thing was really a big issue, because, as I said, I told my girlfriend, these guys that I met yesterday, I took them to the city today, and they're all being very friendly. They seem like cool guys, nice guys. We're all more or less the same age, so we get along very well, and they want me to go with them, and why not? It's a chance. Why not miss it? And why miss it? Why not
Yeah.
take the chance and go with them? Because at that point, well, we as a band, we had gigs, but not as much, and for me, going somewhere with a band playing, well, that it was a great thing to do. So it was no doubt for me the best thing, the best memory of the whole trip that you had. That first trip was that Čakovec.
Yeah.
Even though I really enjoyed you guys being very generous and taking me to lunch and stuff like that.
I remember when you first met us, you sort of said, "Yeah, don't pay for the tram." They said
That
they'll
was
never
advice.
catch you.
That was
I remember
advice that we followed every day that we were there, both times.
We got on the tram, opened up to get our money out. You were like, "Don't pay for the tram." So we're like, "Well, if he's not going to, then we won't."
Yeah, well, that's a specific situation. The trams, we have like a problematic relationship with our trams and the controls that go in the trams. And for me at that time, and the times before that, when I was in high school and all those years, even though as a student and as a high school student, you have some cards and you are allowed to go for free or for some ridiculous amounts. Even when you don't have that it's kind of popular not to pay and to go in and go out as you please. And for me, it was kind of, well, am I gonna tell these guys that or not? Because they're probably from a country where probably everyone pays for the service they want. But and yeah, I
all
also
chose to
remember that
rebel.
yeah.
So when you heard we were coming back for a second tour, what was the first thing that you came to your mind? Were you like, oh, round 2, here we go again, let's have some more fun? Or was it more of a case of, oh, these guys, I've got to entertain them again?
Well, it was mostly the first thing, even though I knew I had to clear a bit my schedule and organize myself a bit, because when was the second time you came? Was what year?
It was
2014.
Yeah, May, June 2014.
Yeah, okay, so that was 2 years after. I had a bit more obligations. I had like a job. It was a bit more difficult for me to organize myself for that one, but I was happy you were coming, because it was also, again, a chance to go do something out of the ordinary, something fun with these guys, come from some distant place, and we haven't seen each other for 2 years, and it was also something that I was very happy about. I was happy that you were coming.
Yeah, so are we. It was great to come back again. I mean, we got to play some new places, and we went back to Čakovec's pod room, and then we played HGF Festival at a place called the Regenerator in Zabok. Is that right? Is that still there?
Yeah, it is.
Which again, I think has got to go down as probably one of my favorite nights in the band. Yeah, for many reasons, which we could perhaps go into. I don't know. We all seem to have an adventure that night. All 5 of us, and 6 of us, I should say.
Yeah.
So this was the second time that the second trip that we had, and we were there for a bit longer this time, weren't we? We were there for 5 or 6 days.
Maybe a week, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe a week, yeah. That second time we were there, Domo, what memories do you have from that?
Well, the best memory is the banana memory. That's absolutely.
Well, I think that comes with a full backstory. No pun intended. Because we've obviously got to set the scene of the actual gig in general.
I apologise. Yeah. I apologise, Domo, that you saw way too much of me, and you saw what you could do with bananas when you've got the right attitude and the right friends around you who will help you achieve those goals. So I apologise.
It's important to be surrounded by good people and make your ideas come true.
Yeah. Little twist on the classic. Domo has got a question for you this week, not me.
Oh.
So
does that mean you've got to answer as well, Jack?
No. I'm exempt.
What?
So Domo, take it away.
So we have an easy and a difficult question. If you get past the easy one, you can get the difficult one. The easy one is, which color the trams and the buses in Zagreb?
What color are the trams and the buses in Zagreb?
Are they blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, blue.
I'd say
It's got
dark
to be.
green.
Oh, Darren got it.
Big
Darren
thumbs up.
straight in.
Well done, Dan.
Onto the tough question, where the real money is.
Yeah.
On to the tough question. What's the name of the tower that has the cannon and shoots every day at noon?
What?
The tower is also in your video.
Yeah,
it
is.
What's the name of the tower?
I have no idea.
No. I'm not even going to offend anyone by trying.
So
I don't know what the tower. I got no idea. I can't even hazard a guess. Go on, Domo. Tell us.
The answer is Grič.
Grič. And if you've not been to Zagreb before, it is a really cool experience going to see the cannon fire at midday every day. So go and see Grič.
Especially, it's great when you take someone there who doesn't know the cannon's going to go off, as I think Matt did with his wife, and scared the living wits out of her. Yeah,
I was just poised under the under the cannon with my phone, trying to take a photo. Obviously, I was filming it, and she just shat a pineapple, I believe is the phrase.
Shut a pineapple.
Wow, on that great philosopher's quote, Domo, thank you so much for joining us. We wonder if you would do us the honour of saying some kind of little outro in Croatian for us. Obviously, you could be insulting us for all we know, but it would be a nice little way to round off the episode.
Well, I'm gonna share a thought with you guys in Croatian that basically tells that you came here and that first experience in 2012 ended with you guys coming back here privately and together. Jako mi je drago da su dečki još 2012. došli u Hrvatsku, u Zagreb, da im je bilo toliko lijepo, da su još nekoliko puta se vraćali i da se ovo naše prijateljstvo nastavlja, pa makar ovako virtualno. That's it.
Well, I couldn't have put it better myself. Thank you so much, Domo. It's great to hear from you.
Lovely.
Love to your wife and child, and hope everything is going well there. And we'll see you in the next European Championships.
Thanks, Domo.
Cheers, Dobby.
Okay, so that kind of wraps us up quite nicely for the first tour. So we should probably say good night for now, and thanks, obviously, big thanks to Domo for jumping on the call and joining us. It's lovely to speak to that chap again. Hopefully we'll get to see him again soon. So yeah, any final passing thoughts before we leave Croatia?
Well, only momentarily leave Croatia because we've still got so much to talk about. So yeah, for sure, episode 10 is going to be much more into our second trip in Croatia, and we will shed light on the banana story that we've so innocently dangled in front of you.
It's going to be like that Gavin and Stacey trip, isn't it?
Oh, the fishing trip.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully see you or speak to you next week for Croatia Part 2.
Ciao.
See you then.
Yeah.
See ya.